What's stopping you from having the best body of your life? Story 1. My biggest obstacles are laziness and my work schedule. I managed to handle the schedule, but laziness is a tougher opponent. I'm hoping to finally make peace with motivation next year and give laziness a good talking to for all its mischief. Story 2. Nothing. I currently have it. It's not easy. I wake up before everyone, 4 a.m. every weekday to fit in a run in weights. I'm 7 years into this journey at 42 years old. Now I can't imagine taking a day off. I used to be a lazy, functioning alcoholic and terrible husband with a wife who had one foot out the door. If I can change, anyone can. Story 3. Debates between my two brain cells. Brain cell 1. You'll be more beautiful if you change a few things. Just imagine the compliments and attention you could get. Brain cell 2. But what's the point of striving for a different version of beauty when you're already unique and beautiful in your way? You're perfect just as you are. Embrace and accept yourself for who you are. Guess who wins every time? Story 4. I don't care anymore. I'm not interested in trying to impress anyone. My ego is in check, so I don't care what anyone thinks about me, and I'm happy with myself. My body is perfectly capable of all the everyday tasks I encounter. In my day-to-day life, I don't need to lift heavy objects or run for miles. I'm in a decent shape as is. In a way, if it's not broken, didn't fix it. Story 5. Self-love. Who gives a about the shape of this meat sack? I love myself way too much to deprive myself of earthly pleasures while I'm here. Should add that I work in hospice, and even the healthiest among us end up in about the same shape in the end. So excuse me while I enjoy the out-of-the-Pantone that my mom sent me for Christmas. That thing is heavenly. Story 6. When I was the attractively thin body type, I didn't get periods or they were very irregular. I get sick more often and was generally weaker. Now I've got some more jiggle to my wiggle. I am much healthier. No more cysts on my ovaries. Colds go quicker. Periods are consistent. Apart from rare occasions of life-changing stressful times, I can carry more stuff and am more capable. It is what it is. Story 7. Hopefully this doesn't get me banned forever, but this is an Ed question to ask. The correct answer is age, but questions like this shame everyone for not having a specific interest in fitness or nutrition. It's really cool to see someone drive themselves if that is their specific hobby, but beauty standards should not be based on that. I propose a better question. What is stopping you from feeling beautiful? The answers to that will be far more revealing for most people. Story 8. My legal name is Obese A-Tron 5000. At my heaviest, I was mid-500 pounds. During lockdown, I changed my relationship with alcohol and junk food. This was way easier than I thought because I was working from home. I'm 320 pounds now. 100 pounds to go for my height and bone structure. But since being called back from working from home, I have been plateaued weight-wise. Being able to cook from home, get good rest and hydration as well as moving, was way too heavy to do much exercise besides weightlifting, helped. But that has fallen by the wayside sadly. It's hard to balance everything when just getting to and from work takes so much out of the day. But I guess companies need to justify paying rent for their buildings. Morale was way up and production was unharmed by working from home. I miss having more agency on my work days. Story 9. Trauma. Went through some bad when I was younger, then realized I stopped getting unwanted male attention when I gained weight a few years later. Now, every time I notice I've lost weight, have uncontrollable cravings for chocolate and cupcakes and that sort of thing. Story 10. I'm burnt out. Autistic, getting no support, working 60+ hours a week to make rent and eat. Mom died in October, and that grief is fresh. I cry every day. I do not have the mental capacity to figure out a meal plan, meal prep, figure out a workout plan, and be disciplined in these things when all I want to do is lay in bed and rot. I have just enough to get myself to work on time every day and feed myself. Picking food is a big issue with me on a regular day, and I can feel that slipping away by the hour. Just gonna have to be fat until I'm no longer drowning. Story 11. This year I've gained literally a stone in weight, 14 pounds, after years of already hating the extra pounds I'd put on since COVID. So OP, your question is such a good one. What is stopping me? I'm 5'3" in height, so a little extra weight has always shown quickly on me and easily makes me feel uncomfortable. I've been actively disliking my body and weight for a good few years now, and yet despite that, to be truthful, I know I've not committed to doing anything proactive about it, so I've only got myself to blame. I have a new job I really love. It's a little stressful at times, but I don't care as I genuinely love it. It's of course sedentary for the most part, and I drive. So I find myself being a lazy twat and not committing to any sort of new exercise regime or a clear-cut, simple diet either. But yet I've still been hating my weight and wishing I could wear all of these lovely outfits, but always think, one day I'll do it, one day. I'm 30 and child-free. I've got no excuses, but have just been simply lacking any motivation. I truly need some spark back in me. I want to recapture my confidence and unlock so many avenues that are held back simply because of my low confidence. I need the universe to kick my arse into gear, LOL. Story 12. Honestly, it is inability to force myself to make healthy living habitual and consistent. First of all, you have to delay your immediate gratification expectations. Eating a chocolate or bag of chips is immediately satisfying. Eating a fat-free/sugar-free bowl of lettuce with no dressing is not. The early stages of diet and exercise feel uncomfortable. With almost any diet, you are restricted from comfort foods and treats, which make you feel like you are missing out, or hungry, and craving things you cannot eat. Other people you are with are ordering a big batch of bacon cheese fries, and you are not. Exercise in the beginning. You can't do a lot and are out of breath and feel exhausted. The next day, every muscle hurts. You imagine yourself running a marathon, but cannot run the distance to your mailbox without wheezing. Best healthy body requires a long-term investment. If you do not continue your healthy habits, the path back to square one is faster than a game of chutes and ladders. Age is working against you too. If you don't keep up, it is harder every year that goes by. Story 13. Being emotionally stunted due to ACEs. My parents tried to instill discipline in me, but it never stuck, since I was busy struggling with them posturing unhealthy emotional regulation. It always confused me how they could be so disciplined yet so emotionally immature at the same time. I guess when you're raising 3 kids as a low-income family, saving money is non-negotiable at the cost of properly dealing with mental health. I'm 28 and single, childless. I have so much less responsibility than my parents did at my age. Maybe that contributes to my laziness, as I'm not letting anyone down but myself when I'm not holding strong to discipline. It's hard to do something just for my own long-term benefit. I'm essentially still in the process of reparenting myself as an adult and learning to emotionally regulate, and it's been a long journey. It's only been in the last 2 years that I've learned to stop viewing myself as a victim of my circumstances, since it minimizes the power I have to change things as an adult with freedom over my actions. The past might have shaped my life growing up, but I can undo any negative shaping in the present so that future me can be free from my past. I still battle with the realization that it's up to me to make lasting change, and it's going to be more work than I've previously done. It's scary and a little demoralizing, but as long as I start small, I have a better chance at success. Today is Thursday for me. I'm going to work out for 15 minutes every other day for 2 weeks and increase my duration and frequency after that. Thanks for the reminder. Wish me luck. Story 14. A little off topic, but readers should consider what an excellent question format this is. It works in most all aspects of achieving goals, professional as well as personal. What is stopping you /something/the project/ from moving forward with plans? A variation is, what is blocking things from moving forward? Once you know the answer, things become a lot clearer on what needs to be done. Story 15. Recent injury. Due to a lot of life changes, had a kid, changed jobs, etc., I made the call 5 years ago that I needed to cut back my expenses and spend more time at home. So I canceled some memberships. I knew I would lose muscle and gain adiposity, and I was fine with that. Things are better now. About 2 months ago, I had just signed up for a new gym. I was so excited, seriously. Then I fell onto a pipe with my whole body weight and broke my elbow. Severe radial head fracture with displaced bone fragments. I had to have surgery to replace the end of the left radius bone with a prosthetic joint. I carry a card for MRI techs and metal detector security now. I immediately canceled the new gym membership, and they were pretty great about it. Full refund minus like a $25 fee. I think I was on big pain meds that day. My prognosis for recovery is good. I am now 6 weeks post-op and doing occupational therapy. I'm also tracking all my little wins, like the first day I could hold a plum in my hand without pain, or the first day I could tie my shoes again. I'm really kind of a menace about it. I make my family cheer and high-five me on my good arm whenever I do something new with it, LOL. Honestly, if I don't focus on the positive, I'm just going to get depressed and start skipping my stretches and stuff. I started doing some lunges and squats, but I really can't safely work the upper body almost at all. I just don't have the strength or range of motion to lift anything heavier than 1 pound. I can work my legs, and I've done a few sets for just my right arm, but without the left one, there's no dips, no bar curls, no shrugs, no power squats or deadlifts, no bench press. Sucks. I just gotta wait on it. Time, and a lot more of these therapy stretches will get me there. Story 16. Well, I'm a working home who doesn't even get to go to the bathroom unaccompanied. Kids are so small they climb everywhere without any sense of danger. House is a mess and I have to feed everyone, do all laundry, buy groceries, entertain the kids, take care of their hygiene, and put them to bed. If I had some me time, the first thing would not be another exhausting activity. Story 17. I've known dozens of people throughout my half a decade of life. And let me tell you something, it's hard to keep up any fitness food lifestyle routine where deprivation is part of the formula. And I've always seen people fall into the same category. They are insane with fitness, forsaking anything that would deter their progress, like eating anything bad and missing a day at the gym. They go hard and may see some progress, but then they plateau and give up knowing it's near impossible to go without the things they enjoy to eat, or they get hurt from overdoing it and quit. If you want to change your body, it's a mindset. Bodies only change after sustained calorie deficit and sustained strength training. It's a lot for 90% of humans to achieve for any length of time. Also, those actors and actresses who always seem to have the same body type, to me, all the men mostly look underweight, and I'm of average size. It's because they eat like once or twice a day and keep a regular routine because it's part of their job to do so. Story 18. Having a cups. I have a pretty fit, athletic build. Not too muscular, but very toned. My abs are more visible first thing in the morning, but I still get so sad that I don't have bigger boobs. There's no workout for that unless I want surgery, then I wouldn't have better ones. I make up for it by working out my glutes, but my genes are stopping me from having the best body. Story 19. I bought running shoes. Was going to get into it and maybe not body of my dreams, but lose some extra kgs. Maybe even join a gym with my cousin and tone up a bit. Now I've gone and got a fractured foot from sitting too long, ironically. Passé, don't try stand up and walk with a super numb foot. And ADHD means once my foot's recovered ill, have to build up that motivation all over again. Story 20. Ad Creative 5077. 2 days ago. Lack of motivation. I do not care about my body enough to let the thought motivate me. I don't get any pleasure from working out. I'm uncomfortable around people, so I hate group workouts. I've become too weak for jogging that I enjoyed once. Nothing motivates me to move more, so here I am, the fat lord of my couch. Story 21. Nothing. 95% of excuses everyone else has can be boiled down to, I don't care for myself enough to do what's good for myself. If having a healthy heart and abs were easy, everyone would have it. Do better than yesterday. Go for a run. Doesn't matter how far. Go hungry for an hour or so. You won't die. Try lifting heavier than last week, even if you need longer rest. There's an alternative universe version of you that didn't do the hard thing, and you're beating that alternate universe version of yourself every time you do it. Story 22. Not completely sure. I think it may have been my previous medication, Depo-Provera, since it made me gain 40 pounds. I have since lost some of that, but I can't get rid of the rest of it no matter what I do. Super careful calorie monitoring? Nope. Working out, proper hydration, and careful calorie monitoring? Nope. Working out, proper hydration, sleep, calorie monitoring, and firefighter training? Still no. At this point, I don't know what to do other than liposuction. And for anyone saying the calories and calories out dur, yeah, I know. Monitored every calorie and zilch, Depo-Provera notoriously messes with metabolism. So for now, stuck hating how I look every second of every day. Story 23. Nothing really. I'm still grinding away to get that body I want. I do wish I had more energy to really go for it at 100%, but with being a dad of 2, a full-time job, school, and taking care of other matters, housework, cooking, grocery shopping, family outings, etc., I have to prioritize the time and energy. I am very lucky that I'm still able to go to the gym 5 days a week with such a busy lifestyle. Story 24. Gastritis. I'm underweight because of this condition, but if I eat more and push myself, then it will make my gastritis worse. And if it gets worse, my appetite will go down. It's a vigorous cycle that I've been dealing with for 2, coming on 3 years. Story 25. A dream body is not a dream body if it's hell to maintain. If you're talking about abs, slim and toned muscles with low body fat, I've never been like that and I never will. Even when I weighed my lightest, I felt miserable and didn't allow myself any candy bread or sodas. I would say my physique is my best now. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but also heaviest. I eat healthy but allow myself some sweets from time to time. I'm not gaining fat, nor am I losing weight, for CA 3 years or so. I'm not sick, joints, back, or shoulders don't hurt, so I'm happy. Story 26. Since becoming a mom, I don't indulge in my previous vices, so I get my dopamine hit from standing with my head inside the fridge at 10 p.m. doing random like putting hot sauce on cold firm tofu and shoveling it down at Godspeed. I know that sounds miserable, but honestly, it's late-night bizarre food combos that are responsible for the little belly I now refer to as the tire. I do Pilates 4 times a week, but the tire remains 'cause I like a little late-night grub. Story 27. Genetics and being poor. Once women in my family have a baby, we are forever cursed with a small faux bump. And even if we lose weight, it's just a small bump with saggy skin. I've had 3 kiddos and went through a period of starvation. I have an Ed that is periods of binging or starving, no in between, and looked so skinny my mom thought I'd started hard, but yet I still had the small bump and saggy skin. Nothing short of surgery will fix it. Story 28. Having the worst body of my life, people don't understand how being overweight makes everything hard. I eat right, don't overindulge, but my job is at a desk. It is mentally exhausting, so the last thing I want to do is go for a walk or the gym. Not to mention, I don't get the endorphin hit that people talk about when they work out. To me, it is just painful. I wake up the next day stiff and barely able to move. Story 29. Well, after going to gym for several months now of 4 days a week, I actually think what's stopping me is some sort of incompetency of performing the exercises and probably some combination of genetics and hormone diff, rather some lack of trying like most people. The hormone thing is debatably a worse problem. I've come to realize that those testosterone production days are long past, and body with some decades of sedentary life will not so easily respond to this newfound physical labor. Story 30. I struggle with PDD depression, and I am also a lazy. I'm usually happy to just get through the day and get home to my bed. I work a physical job, so I get some exercise. But I overeat a lot because food makes me feel better when I am sad, and I just don't have the will to exercise outside of work. I tried to go on a healthy diet many times, but I can't live without chocolate and alcohol. I'm not overweight, but I'm also not slim and toned. That requires effort and dedication I never had because I guess I don't love myself enough to try. Story 31. Genetics, I guess. I've been working out 2.5 wires, and whilst there is a definite improvement in muscle mass, I don't really look like I work out. Meanwhile, there's guys at work walking around like bodybuilders who have been lifting for a far shorter time. I do high protein, creatine, tried progressive overload. I'm also 48, so age is against me. Also, my wife is a great cook, so there's that, LOL. Story 32. IDK what the best body of my life would even look like. Sometimes I'm insecure and wish I had a bigger butt or breast, so I guess what's stopping me is I don't want to gain weight to try to plump those areas because it's likely I would add weight in others areas too, which I wouldn't like. The alternative is spending money on fake stuff, and I don't want to look unnatural. Story 33, I think it's probably the commute for me. It's at least an hour each way in addition to a full-on job. It interferes with consistency. I managed to fairly reliably get to the gym too, 3 times a week and cycle at least 1x per week between March and November this year, but not at all in December. At 40, I probably am in the best shape of my life, but I started off from a very poor place in January this year. Story 34, tasty food and employment. When I was a student or unemployed, I was fit as finding motivation to travel to the gym and spend 2 hours there 5 days a week is easy when you have nothing else going on. When you're leaving the house at 7 a.m. and not home until 6 p.m., gonna make food, do chores, visit the girlfriend, family, etc., there is zero motivation or physical and mental energy. If I have an hour or two free, I just want to snack and play video games now. Story 35 had it 3 years ago. Short version, stress after a bad divorce 5 years ago made me get severe stomach pain, which caused me to not be able to run, do weights, or yoga for a long time. By the time it had resolved itself to a manageable state, the depression hit. I'm now well into a so far very successful treatment for my depression, but between said depression now manifesting as being overwhelmed, having a toddler and 2 tweens, and a partner with chronic pain after the birth, I just don't have the energy to focus on exercise and diet, which I know is counterproductive as it would give me more energy down the line. Story 36. I used to be insanely fit, probably top 5% in terms of stretch for my age, but also I looked amazing in terms of physique. Now I'm in my mid-30s and still in good shape, but not nearly as jacked or strong as I was in my early and mid-20s. The number one thing holding me back is time and energy. If I had more time in my schedule, I would spend 2 hours a day at the gym hardcore lifting, but I simply cannot do that with work and other life obligations. Conversely, I can do those types of lifts some days, but when I do them, then I zap all of my energy to accomplish anything else in my life for that day. This is the paradox of getting older and coming to the reality that I simply cannot do it all like I used to in my 20s because I no longer have boundless energy or a huge amount of free time. Story 37, my genetics. I lift weights 5 times a week. I swim, I hike, and I try to eat healthy as much as possible. Yet I still struggle with my weight. I can starve myself for weeks and barely lose weight, but if I look the wrong way at food, I gain weight. I'm not obese, but I'm also not lean. I see PPL not putting even a tenth of my work into their body and having better results. My best friend recently started going to the gym with and he already has more visible muscles. I could have a strong man body, but not a fit athletic body. It took me some time, but I accepted it as is. Story 38. My health lull. I used to be in shape and pretty strong. Then my health got really bad and I can't do a singular push-up or lift anything too heavy without extreme dizziness, or sometimes my vision getting darker around the edges like I'll pass out. There's more, but that's what bothers me the most when I try to work out like I used to. Working on getting that figured out, but the wait for doctors is so long, but hopefully we can fix it, or at least make it easier to live with so I can get in shape again. Story 39. What's stopping me is that I already had that body and am aware of the costs. I was on 4% body fat for way too long. I was obsessed with dieting, working out multiple times a day every day and constantly comparing my physique to others. I was hungry all the time and my hormones were all ed. My libido was almost non-existent. When I look back at pictures from those days, I still think that it is the best I've ever looked. Nevertheless, I don't want that lifestyle for me anymore. It brought me so much misery and insecurity. I still work out every day now, but not with the mindset of, I'm not good enough and I need to do more. Also, I eat whatever I want and don't worry about certain foods that I used to worry about before. I can proudly say that I feel much better in these days. Training and diet aren't on my mind 100% of the time anymore. I still work out every day because I like the habit, but I don't let it control my life as much as I used to anymore. Story 40. I'm nearly 50. My foot slid on a wet path last week. I braced myself, but thankfully remained standing. The utter fear on my face and length of time it took me dare move whilst I assessed if I had thrown a hip or my back was embarrassing. I hadn't. I'm a healthy weight, no medical issues other than age. I can't reverse the aging process. Story 41, chocolate, pizzas, and croissants. But the question is it really worth it giving this up just to reach the top? I would if the best body would give me anything else besides best body. But since many nice things can be done with good body, having best body isn't really worthy of giving up other really good things. Story 42. I need a bunch of loose skin removed to get there and probably a breast lift also, but I keep thinking if I lose another 5 pounds, surgical outcomes are even better. But I'm now really close to my ideal healthy weight, so that last 5 pounds has been slow to come off the last couple times I've done that. Also, the recovery on that is also going to be brutal and it's going to cost a fortune, so I think I'm hesitating a little. Story 43. The best body of my life was the result of a lot of discipline, hard work in the gym, careful diet, and a whole lot of steroids. Obviously, being on steroids isn't sustainable. It can be, but I'm not wealthy enough to pull it off. Every iteration of myself since those days has been pretty terrible, but I did start working out again a few years ago, got on medically necessary and doctor-prescribed TRT, 140 milligrams per week for those curious, and I also started taking semaglutide, and I'm down about 80 pounds of fat, up maybe 10 of lean tissue. I'm currently in the best body of my adult life without the steroids, and keep getting incrementally better. I don't know what the best version of me will look or feel like, but I'm getting there. Story 44 time. I'm working on it now, 20 kgs down in 4 months. A strong calorie deficit and way too much exercise. Average this week has been 20K steps daily and an HR at the gym on the bike and stretches, then yoga class, and then ice skating 3 times a week. Another 4 months I'll hit a weight where I'll look skinny due to muscle. And the another 3 months after that, I'll be in the healthy weight scale according to BMI. For reference, 6'3". Story 45, chronic illness that makes me take prednisone months at a time at least once a year. And sadly, I'm one of those people who have all the side effects, from gaining weight to feeling manically depressed and everything in between. What a time to be alive. But I got food poisoning 2 nights ago, so I'm gifted with not being able to eat all the delicious, unhealthy Christmas foods. Silver lining? Story 46, tacos and margs. I've lost 130 pounds before dieting. My only cheats was for tacos and margaritas. Then, I fell off and gained a lot of weight. I'm about to make another push, but damn it, I enjoy Taco Tuesday too much. I also don't have time in my life for weightlifting anymore, and it kills me. Dieting and walking after dinner is really all I can do for the next few years. Story 47, my mind. My own fault, though. Lost about 50 kilograms already spread over a few years. AB 10 to 15 kilograms need to follow to be totally healthy. I can hold my current weight, but I am stagnating. Again. Currently, I'm living with my parents for a while because my mom is very sick, but those two always stressed me out my entire life, and I am not at peace here. My body gets worse if my mental state gets worse. I can friggin' watch it. Even when I am at home and work escalates, my body pays the price. I piss myself off, seriously, but I struggle hard to make my mind a priority, which would probably be helpful to lose the extra weight. I am trying, though, and will not give up. Might take 50 more years, but whatever. Story 48, I love food. The bad stuff tastes so good and the good stuff tastes meh. On top of that, I'm an emotional eater, happy, sad, stressed. Food is my thing. I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat. Fat Bast *RD Austin Powers. I've had bad experiences with personal trainers, tried slimming groups, and lacked discipline on my own. Because of all the failures, my mind convinces me not to bother trying again. But I have to make a concerted effort to try and get these pounds down. I need to for health reasons, and also I want to feel why again. Story 49. Because I simply do not care. My lifetime is finite, and there are so many more important and enjoyable things to spend it on than pointless self-optimization. Staying healthy is important, but that's all. And I don't want a partner who cares so much about superficialities anyway. One day, I'll be old and wrinkly, and I still want them to love me then. Story 50. My grandmother in general, very long story, and not being capable of standing up for myself. Partially my disability, and I'm scared that if I do that, I'll get kicked out, plus I have nowhere to go near me, except my mom who's relapsed and don't have a car either. Also, not blaming this on it, but it's really inhibiting for progress, but I've lost nearly 50 lbs/23 kg recently. I'm blaming Christmas crap. BC, it's addicting. Story 51. I have acute tendinitis, which prevents me from walking far distances or running. This makes exercise difficult to do. At the same time, my brain struggles with portion size control at meals. While I do not have that many snacks or candy, I repeatedly eat too much food in many scenarios. Both of these make it a challenge to lose weight. Story 52. Disability after failed spinal surgeries. I was hit by another car at high speed 9 years ago. BC and AC. Life before crash and after crash. BC =, alive, vital, traveled the world and climbed mountains. AC =, dead. I can't stand longer than 5 minutes, sit in a chair, bend. The most primitive reflexes, the daily movements people do without thinking, all of those movements are severed. The only movements now are my thumbs typing this. Once I felt I had equal right to the world as a place of discovery. Now it's filled with anticipatory dread of the stairs, train, lift. I look able-bodied, which is worse. Beside people say, well, you look good. That isn't going to give me back a spine. All the symbolism of carrying the weight of responsibility without a backbone of support is very true. The ableism is rife. Just to say anything you're set your mind to requires a working body. Never presume and never assume. Story 53. Too many surgeries to remove non-cancerous tumors. All in my reproductive areas, even after removal, all the scar tissue sits, making me look more bloated and fat at 150 pounds. The worst part is people asking if I'm expecting when I haven't had a uterus in 5 years. No amount of dieting or working out will make it go away. Story 54. Time for sleep, cooking, meal planning, exercising. A high-pressure corporate finance job and a young family rob me of my flexibility. The little spare time I have is late at night. If I go to bed early, I just choose to catch up on sleep. Things change for me. I'm hoping they will change again. Story 55. What's stopping me is not having the desire to be at a physical peak. Because to do that, you have to suffer immensely. There's a lot of suffering to be able to attain a physical peak. There are performers who constantly have to gain and lose immense amounts of weight, playing with their body on the regular in order to attain a body perfect for the role. That can have negative effects. Honestly, unless you are barreling towards death, meaning as an example you are drinking several 2L bottles of soda daily, no exercise, insurmountable amounts of fast food and sweets, along with narcotics such as alcohol and cigarettes, just be happy with the body that you have currently. If you want to look leaner and more fit, go ahead, but don't make yourself suffer to get to the place you want to be. Me personally, I'd like to be healthier, sure, but I don't want to be unbelievably shredded with 6, 8-pack abs and look like a gorilla with the brain to match. Story 56. Reality, genetics, reality, my literal DNA. I mean, I look conventionally attractive. If that's the question, I'm slim and have all the lumps and bumps in the right places. But do I shoot lasers out of my eyes, run at impossible speeds, turn invisible? No. So hardly the best body of anyone's life, TBH. Story 57. Other life values beside of how do I look. To achieve possible best, I'd have to dedicate my whole life to dieting and training. I'm satisfied with 80% best with training 4 times a week and normal diet. Effective diminishing returns makes it unpractical to a regular guy to go above and beyond for a fraction of extra gains. Different story if you are a professional athlete. Story 58. The body I currently inhabit in whatever present moment will always be the best body, because it is mine. It has carried me through everything, and I'm confident it will carry me to and through the future. Every cell is a physical manifestation of sheer will through thought. My body is perfect because it is mine. 3. Story 59. Hashimoto's and perimenopause. The intersection of those two in my mid-40s has been a horrific challenge. I used to walk over 20 miles a week and strength train, and even then I would see no results, hypothyroidism, just living as healthy as I could. Then perimenopause and Hashimoto struck, and I'm incapable of losing weight unless I starve myself, and yeah, no, that's not an option. I've done the AIP diets, gluten-free supplements have been helpful, but I've exhausted myself further with the lack of medical support and constant BS in this crappy healthcare system. The exhaustion and fatigue make it impossible to enjoy anything or motivate me, even though as a mother, I have to do things no matter what. Just the joy has been erased from my life, honestly. Story 60. Well, I mean, there is the money issue. After losing 100 pounds and having EDS, causes excess stretchiness and stretch marks, I need a lot of excess skin cut off. That requires plastic surgery. The other problem is health issues. While I'm celebrating the loss of 100 pounds and beat the medical standards for obesity, I still want to lose about 20 more. And with autoimmune disease, exercising can be a treacherous task. I still do it every other day and do the best I can. Sometimes I have to apply less exertion than other days simply because I don't have the manpower. Story 61, working on it again right now. Pre-COVID, I was in fantastic shape. I love cycling, but was also frequently lifting and eating mostly healthy. Was super strong and fit. Then COVID happened, and I still had cycling but didn't have the gym for a while. During this time, I started drinking too much during lockdown, and then as COVID calmed down, that habit continued for a while. Now I have better control over the alcohol and have been hitting the gym again. Already feeling a lot better. I'm about the same weight as before, but just a little weaker. Getting there, though. Story 62. Number 1, food. Stuff is expensive. 2nd is food preparation. Stuff takes too much time to prepare. 3 is motivation. Dragging myself to the gym is proving to be quite a challenge. 4 is people. People have been so rude lately. I don't want to interact with anyone, so going to the gym with other people, there is ruining my motivation, enthusiasm, and willingness to go. 5 is mental health. All it tells me to do is stay at home and hide, so gotta push through that. Story 63. Motivation to work out after an otherwise already exhausting, tiring day a week. Also, I just love food and I'm already short and not too overweight. 5'3", 130 pounds. And it's so damn easy to overeat your calories. However, I just got a standing desk and mini treadmill and plan on committing myself to stripping some weight by simply walking and really being mindful about the calories going in. I will build myself up to several hours of walking a day in hopes I can drop 10 to 15 pounds over the next year doing just this. And I'll feel so much better about myself that maybe I'll find some motivation to start to lift weights. Another issue I struggle with is just how hard it is to work out for me. I find it really hard to push myself and then put up with being sore. I find it hard to be consistent about something so uncomfortable that I thought maybe just walking while I work would be a better way to address my calories out. I would love to build some muscle. I just struggle with the difficulty and consistency of what it takes. Story 64. I'm self-conscious about going to the gym. I don't want to shower naked in front of other people, but I also cannot go home all sweaty when outside it's -20 in winter. I'm also afraid about not knowing what to do and not having buddies to explain it to me. I'm not lazy. I walk a lot and exercise home, but it's not enough clearly because I don't have and cannot afford equipment. I eat fairly healthy, but I can't stay away from junk food for long. The occasional slip happens. I'm also always hungry, so even if I eat healthy stuff, I always eat more than I need anyway. I'm not fat. I'm fairly skinny, but with a belly and no muscle tone. I hate my body so much. Ugh. Story 65. I work in a kitchen that mostly sells fried food. Having to be on my feet all day while not doing anything that could count as exercise exhausts me too much to work out. The only perk of the job is the daily free meal, and almost everything is fried. I wouldn't blame my job, but my body looked just fine when I was working at the kebab shop, and I was all muscle back when I was working in a warehouse. Story 66. Time management and food. I'd have to sacrifice sleep, my only time to myself, showering, or finishing my degree to properly exercise regularly. I eat pretty okay, but I do love treats and pizza just enough to constantly maintain my weight as I am right now. I could cut those down, but I admit I am a stress eater, and my life is pretty freaking stressful. Story 67. Well, it was my ex-husband. I was a pretty healthy weight when I met him at 140 pounds at 24 years old. Over the course of 18 years together, I blew up to 200, especially after we had kids, and he turned into a complete POS. Left him 2 years ago. Immediately dropped 40. Quit drinking, a habit I picked up with him, and dropped another 15, 20, and now I'm back to a healthy weight hovering between 140 to 150 pounds at 44 years old. Gonna hit the gym soon and shooting for 135. Story 68. Having almost no time anymore. I was in the best shape of my life, but then life happened. But after a year of injury and life-changing, I didn't have as much time because of traveling and responsibilities. I will get back to my old shape. I enjoy working out and training. I just need a different job and different headspace to go forward, so I am first working on that too. Step by step, baby. Story 69 at this point age. Been a cyclist most of my life. Had great-looking legs through my mid-50s and wore shorts that showcased them. But age does rob you of some things like muscle mass, and that's going to change how you look despite working out every day. I'm in my mid-60s now, but still ahead of most of my age group for physical fitness. Story 70. It's hard to get moving. For some reason, I feel so fatigued, and the thought of being this tired and going to the gym kills me. After this year's Canon event, I think I'll find it easier, but it's going to take me so much longer since I can only move a fraction as much as normal. Story 71. I didn't have it for the first 24 years. Grew more confident as I started working out regularly. I was never overweight, but body recompositioning happened first before I lost weight. Stopped paying attention to what I was eating, but just being in the moment. Dropped about 35 pounds, currently at my lowest since I was 15. Story 72. I've lost 75 pounds this year. My doctor says if I wanted, I could lose 20 more. But why? My blood pressure is normal. My cholesterol and a 1C are normal. What would 20 more lbs do for me? That's the thing. I've never had a great body. Yes, 20 more lbs would put me closer to that. But I'm 64. I'm as fit as I've ever been. I can wear the clothes I like and go into any store in the mall to buy them. I'm not going to wear a bikini or a crop top or spandex. I like food even in small portions. I don't want to spend hours a day exercising. I just want to be a normal person with a normal body. I already did the bodybuilding and eating disorder thing in my 30s, and I'm not doing it again. Story 73. I had it, and it wasn't worth the effort to maintain. Between travel time, gym time, and cardio time, it eventually turned into another job, and I wanted to do other things with my day than pursue vanity and a degree of fitness I never needed outside of the gym itself. It was fun being jacked and having that fire, but I feel much more peaceful and fulfilled now doing other things. Story 74. Being middle-aged and being unwilling to explore hormone supplementation. Nothing's stopping me from continually improving the body I have. I love training and playing around with altering my diet, but there's just no way I'd be able to top the body I had in my late 20s. Such is life. As they say, I ain't even mad. Story 75 candy, literally candy. I have a semi-decent body. Had beautiful abs up until about 27 when my metabolism caught up to me. I work out regularly, but I'm addicted to candy, and I'll happily run my day's calorie intake to have some Sour Patch Kids or something similar. I have zero control over myself if there's candy in front of me. I will eat it until someone takes it away or someone mentions it and I get a little embarrassed. My wife is on to this and only lets these things in the house during special occasions or holidays because I will eat it all if it's not reserved for something or clearly someone else's. Still not really safe in this case. I have a little spare tire in the midsection these days. I don't hate it, but I miss being shredded. I also had some sour candy yesterday, and I also miss that. Story 76, the time and energy it takes. I used to go to the gym every day and was in solid shape. Plus, I still ate so I really wasn't sacrificing that much. Then I graduated school and had a job and realized finding motivation is 10x harder when you don't have the ability to do whatever you want for most of the day. Yeah, I still had homework and classes and worked as a RA, but those only had hard restrictions of time being 4 hours a day. I could do homework anytime throughout the day or late at night, or my RA job could be done at any time at night. Life was so much easier when I had a six-pack. Story 77. I was in good shape and ran a lot prior to getting married. My husband, however, ended up being a picky eater, sedimentary, and feels spending time together is watching TV together. I honestly thought I could change his palate and lifestyle, but not the case. I'm stuck between feeling guilty for leaving him alone, not making things he likes, hearing him complain, and living my healthy best life.